So thank you, Christy, for spending some time with me today. The information that you can share with families that are maybe interested in fostering is so valuable. So we really appreciate you joining us today for a little Q&A. So,
Thanks. My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
awesome. All right. So first question for you. What's something that has surprised you about fostering teens?
Well, before I first started spending time with teenagers, I definitely believe the narrative that I'm sure we've all heard, that teenagers are hard and that they like to push adults away. That was what I was used to hearing. And those things have been the absolute opposite of my experience with teenagers. Even though they are in nearly adult bodies, they are still little kids. And like any kid, they want to be seen, they want to be heard. They want to talk to you. They want somebody to send TikToks to at 1 a.m. Most of all, they want to sit and chat with you. Sometimes that takes some effort. Sometimes it just takes time getting to know them getting to know you, them learning that this is a safe place or I'm a safe person. But with time, they want somebody to know what their favorite color is. They want somebody to know what their favorite band is, or to hear a song that makes you think of them, and you get to expose them to new music and you get to learn their new music. They want somebody to know when they feel sad or stressed. They want somebody to come home to and say, hey, how was your day? And those are all things that I have learned along this journey, and I'm so glad. So when people hear that I have fostered teens, they're like, oh my gosh, teenagers. But honestly, like, they're just such a joy, and they're like any other kid who they just want a safe place to land and people who see them and care about them.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right. What has brought you the most joy in your journey of fostering teenagers, or what moments will you never forget?
Well, these are my favorite things to talk about. There's the big ones. There's when they first walk the stage, or when they pass their driving test. And you see their little smile when they come back with the driving instructor, and you know that they got it.
Mhm.
Or when they call you and say that they got offered the job. Those are huge milestones that I will never forget with my kids. But honestly, for me, like, the things that really sit inside of me are those small moments. And that's like the first time that they said home. Instead of saying your home, they said my home. And I know they finally are starting to feel safe, or feel like they belong, or this is their space too. Or when I get a call from them and I'm worried that something's wrong, and I answer the phone and they just saw something at school that they thought was so crazy and they couldn't wait to tell somebody, and I was their first call. Those are the things that, like, really, just when you get to see them be a normal teenager, when you start to see them just getting to play again and be a kid.
Mhm.
Or when I go to the pantry in the morning and I see that the snacks are finally disappearing, because they finally feel like a normal teenager, as every teenager should, to get up at midnight and get snacks from the pantry. And I know that that means that they feel safe here. And those are more moments of normalcy that a lot of our kids don't get or haven't gotten in the past, because they're moving into spaces where the rules are different in every place, and the cultural boundaries are different in every place, and they have to learn them and follow them. And to watch them start to just kind of be themselves in the space, like, those are really special moments that I hold on to.
Amazing. I love it. That normalcy that kids need, and to feel comfortable, to be able to get snacks and to call you on break. That's amazing.
Yep.
All right. How do you process the hard things? There's so much hurt wrapped around these kids, and many parts of foster care, and what these kids have been through. So, like, how do you deal with those hard things?
Yeah, I think that's something that definitely worries a lot of people. But really, the more you get to witness their stories and their lives, and the more you get to hear about what they've been through, it only leaves you experiencing a really deep set awe in the fact that they are sitting in front of you, that they are still standing. Um, it makes me emotional just thinking about it, like just to think about all the things that my kids have been through and the fact that they're still here. And not only that they're still here, but they are such incredible kids. Um, the more I get to peek into their past and they open up about the things that they're struggling with or the burdens that they're carrying, again, like it just makes you want to go to bat for them more when the system is not supporting them or the system is preventing them from moving forward, like they're trying so hard. I think that my kids have the right to be very angry, and to yell and scream and lash out against the injustices that have nothing to do with them. That was just the hand that they were dealt. But instead, more often than not, I see my kids incredibly hopeful. And that always surprises me every time, because if I was in their shoes, I'm not really sure that that would be my experience. I don't have that. I don't know if I have that resiliency that they have, like the hard that they've experienced. I think gives them every right to curl up and steal away. And that's not what they've done. Instead, they still have dreams. They still have things that they're hopeful about, that they're excited for. They have siblings that they're doing it for. They have families where they're breaking cycles. And instead of getting worried about, oh, there's all this hard, it turns into, as you get to know the kids more, it becomes just this really incredible thing, because you get to see all the feats that they've accomplished and how many times that they just get back up again and they do it again. And that just leaves me feeling like an incredible awe at who they are.
Amazing. Now, just about that same question, because I know it doesn't happen overnight, they're very closed because of the trauma that they've had. Like, how do you, remain patient and open to, allowing them to, talk when they want to talk, when they're ready, or, how do you battle with some of the negativity that they may be feeling and not take it personal because, it might be something going on with them? Like, what has helped you with that piece?
Well, I think we're all as adults learning more and more as I get older how to make it not about me, right? How to not take things personal, how to know that when somebody's having a hard day, that doesn't automatically mean it was me, right? Like that's something that I'm learning as I get older and getting to practice more and more. But more than not, when you hear how many adults have made promises and not shown up for them, how many adults have misused their place or their authority in their life to harm our kids, I should not expect that they're going to trust me. I should not expect. If anything, their body is doing what it should do. It is protecting them because that's how they've survived. That's how they've come to my home. Like their protection mode of going inside and learning to not trust is what has kept them alive. And their body is responding to the environment that they've come from. And that's not their fault. And I can't be upset at them. Their body is doing what it should do. But then what I get to do is to provide a safe space without expectations, and to know their body's going to do what it's going to do. And with time, like I get to earn their respect. I get to earn their trust. That's not something I should ever expect from any of my kids. They should second guess me. They should second guess, can I really trust you? Are you here for me or are you here for something else? I should never expect that they should just take me at my word, because there's been so many times in their past that people expected that of them, they trusted them, and then that trust was broken. So anytime like a kid moves in or I meet them for the first time, there's never an expectation. And for every kid, that's different. Sometimes it's quick. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's quite some time. And again, that is safe. It's their body doing what it should do, right? Slowly getting to know me, paying attention to how I treat other people, how I treat the people that walk through my door. They're paying attention. And then when they slip up for the first time, how do I respond to that? Am I going to say like, all right, you're not perfect. Sorry, I can't be here. Or am I going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. That was probably really hard, for them to know that they are accepted and loved here, not because of how perfect their behavior is, but just because they're valuable as they are.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I have to do my own work of making sure that I'm not making it about myself.
Yeah.
And that's an active practice that we are all getting better at day after day. But with time, the more you get to know kids and the more you get to hear their stories, you're like, yeah, I'm amazed that you're even talking to me. I'm amazed you trust me 6 months in, 2 months in, like that's huge. Because if I was in their situation, I'm not sure that I would again.
Mhm.
So I have to have patience there.
That's so true. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Last question. How do you know when you're ready to say yes, to move forward, to be a foster parent? Like, is any parent ever ready? Like, how do you even know?
Yeah, no parent is ever ready, right? Like you're a parent and you're like, there's never enough books that you can read or enough things that you can do or accomplish that's really going to make you like, all right, got this, we're good. I tell people that chances are if they are feeling the urge or the interest, or if they're asking themselves questions, they're probably ready. Of course, we all have seasons in our life, right? Where we do have to like make sure things are in order, but usually the needs are a little bit smaller than we think that they are. We think that we have to be perfect or everything has to be perfect, and that's not true. These kids just need safe spaces. They need stable, safe environments that can be a landing place for them. I think I hear a lot of people say, oh, after this, or, after this thing, or after my kids are X amount of years old, then I'm going to foster, or then I'm going to do this thing. But I really think it all comes down to just your resources and what you have to offer. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about emotional resources. Do I have the time to sit down at the end of the day and hear about somebody else's day? Do I have the time on the weekend to take a kid to their soccer game or show up and cheer for them on the sidelines? Do I have the emotional capacity to go to bat for them in their classroom or with their social worker, or be a part of a team that gets to cheerlead another kid from the sidelines? Those are the things that I think more of us have those resources than we realize. And that's the core of what our kids need, is that extra cheerleader, an extra person in their village. I do think it's also really important to make sure that you have a village that is supportive to you, whether that is like Saving Innocence has been a village for me, or your village, your small group, your neighbors, your family, whatever it is, because the village that you're living with, it's supporting you. Obviously, that's important, but that ends up becoming the kids' village too. Like when they come into your home, like that becomes their home, and your family becomes their family, and the child's family, their biological family, becomes your family, and your village expands. And this really beautiful thing happens where you get to share these resources, where now not only did my family become theirs, but like Thanksgiving dinner looks so different because now I have their family also there. It's a really, really cool thing that happens with this like cohesion and getting to know, or getting to be a part of that expansion, I guess.
Amazing. How has fostering changed your life? I threw another question in there.
Oh, how's fostering changed my life?
Because a lot of people think, like I have a certain way, I do this, and I go seeing my family on the weekends. Like they have this routine, and they're like, if I foster, it's going to change my life, it's going to change my routine. I have to change all the things I like. Like, how has it changed your life or adjusted it?
That's so good. Um, in so many ways, but in the most beautiful ways. I think I can answer that question in a lot of different ways. But what I think about a lot is I think about my biological daughter. Her name is Ray, and she's 3 years old. And if we would have gone with the way that a typical family is made, she would have been the oldest. But instead, she is one of eight, and she is the youngest, and she has big siblings who do her nails, who, when she was an infant, like would sneak into her room and go snuggle with her. Um, she has been raised in this large, vibrant, chaotic family that does not, our family does not look like the typical family. But I often look like when I get to see my big kids, my teenagers, loving on her, taking her out on a scooter ride, teaching her something new, teaching her how to do a funky dance or say funny words. I just think about how much she would have missed and how much love and affection would be missing from her life. Is like, I cannot even imagine that life for her. It's wild to think about that if we just would have done things the safe way or the comfortable way, that there would be so much missing from her life. And I feel the same about mine. And I think a lot of people end up going down this foster care journey because they think that they are going to change someone's life, or like they are going to help someone. That really isn't necessarily the case. Like, it becomes this really beautiful, like, mutual exchange of life, of getting to live life and hear stories and witness things that, like, I was never supposed to be a part of, if things had gone as they should have for my kids. But here we are. And because of that, like, I get to watch somebody score their first goal with somebody sitting on the sidelines, like, I get to be a part of that. And I just can't imagine missing out on those things, missing out on that part of life. So I guess, yeah, it's going into, like, saying yes to any kid, no matter how that child comes to your family. It's going to disrupt your life. It is. It's going to disrupt your routine, but you're going to create new routines. And those new routines are going to be really, really cool and much more vibrant and beautiful than you thought that they could be.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Christy. Like, the wonderful work that you do with our kids is just amazing. Like, they're so lucky to have you. You're so lucky to have them. Like, it's this mutual relationship that just flourishes, and like, we just are so excited to have you, and to, get other people to join this wonderful work that we do. So I want to thank you again for coming to chat with us.
Awesome.
And hopefully we see you again soon. We love it.
Thanks, Dana.